Okay, so we have a question for both of us.
Okay.
Sheena from the Lesbian Review asks, what's the scariest thing you have ever faced? Like ghosts, etc. Not real world stuff. We don't need more real world. That's hard to say. Real world bullshittery. Bullshittery is a word I can say. So I just can't say word.
Yes.
So, what about you?
Okay, so I had to do a lot of thinking because I don't have a lot of scary stuff in my background. I used to be terrified of dogs. I don't think that counts. It's a phobia that I conquered. So I kept thinking, and something that you know, but I don't think I've ever revealed to the listeners is that
it's fabulous.
When I was a kid, my parents took up a hobby.
I love this. I love this so hard.
I was probably 9 the first time they took our whole family for War of 1812 reenacting. That's right. We drove all over Ontario. We went into Michigan,
that is awesome.
Ohio. We went to Ohio a lot, actually. There's a historical fort there. We went to New York State once. And we probably did like 10 weekends a year or something like that. That was just with the kids. Sometimes my dad would go on for other ones as well. That was like, it was my dad's passion. My mom had enough friends and she had fun and it was fine. And I had friends, but I hit a point, I think when I was 16, when I could finally put my foot down and say, I'm not going. I am not going. I'm staying home. Fuck this. I don't want this. I'm not doing this. You all go live your lives. I'm not doing this. And so, yeah, Kris has seen the photos.
They're brilliant.
Yeah, it was a thing. And so when I was thinking about it, it's like, what's the spookiest? I can't say anything like legitimately scary happened, right? But this is probably the spookiest thing that I can think of for like my life. If we're leaving real world bullshittery out of it, like
how can you say that and I can't?
I don't know, man. I'm special, I guess.
Real world. See, I have a hard time. Real world, bullshittery.
Maybe it's maybe it's an accent thing.
Maybe. All you accented people.
Yeah, all of us. It's all of us. It's not you.
Well, she'd asked the question, so it's probably like rolls off her tongue in a sexy way, of course, because it's an accent.
In that amazing South African accent?
Right.
So probably the spookiest was we did a reenactment at Fort Niagara in New York State. And what made this reenactment different than anywhere else is that we actually got to stay in one of the fort's buildings.
Oh, wow.
And so it's this like, well, at that point it would have been nearly 200 years old. We're reaching back quite a bit now. So it's more than 200 years old at this point. But it's like gigantic stone. It's cold. It's dark. It's creepy. Because usually we're staying in our own tents. And like, for sure this place was haunted, right? I don't even know that I actually believe in ghosts. But like, if a place is haunted, that place is haunted. It's fucking haunted. It's like, it was one of those like, in the middle of the night, did I want to have to get up and use the bathroom? No, thank you, ma'am. I will wait until it is the morning and there is light and I'm not walking anywhere because fuck this place. Aww. Fuck everything about it. So yeah, that is my story. I feel like I've revealed the most embarrassing part of my childhood now. So you're all welcome. What about you? What's the scariest thing you ever faced?
Okay. So this is a hard question for me because I have an older sister who my whole entire life has scared the living shit out of me. Like at every chance, every turn she could. She was always constantly scaring me. So I have actually, now as an adult, it's everybody's like goal at my work is to scare me because for years, I have completely internalized all of that so that I don't get scared visually outside. Nobody can like scare me. They just can't. It's just one of those things where my sister has scarred me for life. So, and we used to crawl around in the old castle ruins, in Germany when I was a kid. And I would get stuck behind, I was teeny tiny thin when I was a child. And I could slip through the bars. Nobody else could. I could go in these castles. And anyway, that was kind of cool. And my sister would like, oh my God, there's somebody behind you. And of course, I'm panicked trying to slip through the bars. That was one thing. But this is kind of a funny story, and it was scary, and it happened. It was just weird. It was a really weird story, and I can't believe I'm sharing this with you, but I'm going to. And I feel like I've shared this story with somebody recently, so hopefully it wasn't already on our podcast, so this is a little embarrassing, but it's the very first time I ever masturbated. Thank you. This is a masturbation story that is also very scary.
We're getting vulnerable.
I know, very vulnerable. So I'm sitting there and I have the house to myself. Obviously, I think I'm a young teenager. I'm not quite sure how old I was. Anyway, so I'm masturbating and I'm like, this kind of feels good. And I'm doubting everything in my life. Should I be doing this? And I asked the question, if this is wrong to do, give me a sign. And I'm not even joking. I'm not even lying. This still carries to this day, several years later. The smoke alarm went beep. Yeah, my smoke alarm beeped. And it wasn't like it just failed right then. It wasn't a, when the battery goes out, every 2 minutes or whatever, it goes beep. It just beeped once, and it never beeped after that. And so I, didn't masturbate my whole entire teens after that.
What?
Yes, this is a true story.
That is wild. That is one judgy fucking smoke alarm.
And now look at me. I love sex. I'm writing about sex. I'm selling books about sex. So, that kind of backfired on whoever was warning me not to do that. So,
right?
Yeah. So,